Charlie Kirk's pastor and Erica's pastor. Rob McCoy is with us now. When Erica said we didn't see violence, rioting, but we did see a lot of prayer, and we did see forgiveness, I think, at the highest level when Erica said she forgives this assassin. But we now have two would-be assassins on Donald Trump. We have an assassin that killed Charlie. We had Steve Scalise shot in a ball field. We have 574 riots in the summer of 2020, dozens of Americans dead, thousands of cops injured, billions in property damage. But we were told by the media and Democrats they're mostly peaceful. And Kamala said it's not going to stop, shouldn't stop, and they wouldn't stop supporting it. I don't know. I mean, we've got two very different Americas emerging that America sees right now. How do you explain it from a biblical standpoint?
Good and evil. You have evil, which the only thing it does is destroy. It takes life. It doesn't dialogue. It doesn't have civil debate. Evil, when it can't compete with the truth, results in violence. And that's what we find happens. That's what happened to Charlie. Charlie was, he contended in the public square. He would bring his detractors to the front. He'd let them speak. And he would contend with them and contend with their ideas. And he tried to find common ground with them as well. He saw them as opportunities, not the enemy. And he's dead. And that's what evil does. Evil takes life. It takes life in the womb, outside the womb. It takes it of the elderly. That's what evil does. And so anyone who condones it, and then they project it on us to say we're condoning the violence when they're shooting our people. So yeah, it's a battle between good and evil.
Pastor, you've heard public figures. There were even people outside the event, horrible things that have been said. What message do you have for them, those people? Yeah,
you know, Charlie would, when he'd drive into campus and then he'd have the folks, there would be protesters. It used to be early on, it would be Charlie and a sea of protesters. And as I've said before, a missionary goes where he's not loved but needed and leaves when he's no longer needed but loved. And as they took Charlie's life, it was a sea of red hats and kids seeking God. And then they took his life, and it started this awakening across the country. And the reason why is because Charlie treated his enemy and his friend alike with dignity and respect. You know, we're all created equal, not in capacity, but in dignity. And he would honor them, and he would see it clearly. They're not my enemy, they're the opportunity. Their ideology is the enemy, and I'll contend with that with words. He built the entirety of Turning Point on nothing more than the spoken word. And they couldn't contend with logic and reason. So the secret is, everyone's created in the image of God. And Charlie would allow insults and threats to run his water off a duck's back. And he would approach the person and speak to them as a human being. And they would be vile. And they would say things. Some of the stuff you'd hear on campuses was just awful. And Charlie would say, well, I guess that's a product of your education. Everybody would clap and say, hey, there it is. Just empty, vain, and caustic. But he never attacked the person as an individual. He always saw them created in the image of God.
You know, Pastor, I thought about you when you married Charlie and Erica. I doubt you could ever envision in that moment that you would be speaking at a memorial service with well over 100,000 people, never mind how many millions worldwide were watching, nor would it be anything you want. Well done for you, and that makes you a pretty special guy. Thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.